Colonization and influences of Americans in the Philippines. The United States colonized the Philippines between 1899 and 1946. The reasons behind this colonization were both economic and strategic. The United States was interested in expanding its economic and strategic interest in Asia and the Pacific, which were increasing in the late 1890s due to global, inter-imperial competition and an industrial depression. Spain's colonialism was simultaneously being weakened by revolts in Cuba and the Philippines, its largest remaining colonies.
The Philippine Revolution of 1896 to 1897 established Spanish colonialism but failed to remove Spanish colonial rule. The leaders of the revolution were exiled to Hong Kong. When the United States invaded Cuba and Puerto Rico in 1898 to shore up its hegemony in the Caribbean, the U.S. Pacific Squadron was sent to the Philippines to advance U.S. power in the region, and it easily defeated the Spanish Navy. Filipino revolutionaries hoped the United States would recognize and assist it. Although American commanders and diplomats helped return revolutionary leader Emilio Aguinaldo 1869 to 1964 to the Philippine Islands, they sought to use him and they avoided recognition of the independent Philippine Republic that Aguinaldo declared in June 1898. In August 1898, U.S. forces occupied Manila and denied the Republic's troops entry into the city. That fall, Spain and the United States negotiated the Philippine status at Paris without Filipino consultation. The U.S. Senate and the American public debated the Treaty of Paris, which granted the United States sovereignty over the Philippine Islands for $20 million. The American colonization of the Philippines had a significant impact on the country's history, society, and politics. The United States introduced a range of political, economic, and social reforms that transformed the Philippines into a modern nation-state. Some of the most notable influences of American colonization in the Philippines include infrastructure. The United States invested heavily in infrastructure development, including roads, bridges, ports, and railways. The investment helped to modernize the country's transportation system and facilitate economic growth.
Politics. The United States introduced democratic institutions and practices in the Philippines, including a bicameral legislature, an independent judiciary, and a free press. This institution helped to promote political stability and accountability. Culture. The United States introduced American culture to the Philippines through popular media such as movies, music, and literature. This cultural exchange helped to shape Philippines' popular culture and identity.
Religious freedom. When the United States took over the Philippines, the people began to be free to join whatever religion they wanted. During the Spanish rule, the Catholic Church was established as the national religion and was strongly enforced. Because of this newfound religious freedom, there began to be many different churches beside Catholicism. Today, it's remarkable to see just how many different Christian churches there are in the Philippines. This religious diversity has become a big part of the culture.
Free education. Americans introduced the idea of a free education to the Philippine Islands. The United States even sent teachers to help establish schools where the Filipino children could have a free education. A large group of these teachers were called Thomasite, named after the boat that they came on called Thomas. Language. During this time, English began to be taught in the schools, and this is the language that the teachers would use. Even today, most Filipinos can help but mix in English words when they speak. Taglish has literally become part of the culture. In fact, English is now the second national language.
Lots of English words have made their way into the Tagalog language. Often they are pronounced the same, but the dictionary spelling is Filipinoized.
Food. Here is a list of some of the food that Americans introduced to the Philippines that have been widely adopted into their lifestyle. Hamburgers, sandwich, oatmeal, ketchup, chewing gum, apple pie, mayonnaise, hot dogs, steak, ice cream, cornflakes, and more. Some American restaurants that have become very popular in the Philippines are McDonald's, KFC, Dunkin' Donuts.
Clothing. Here are the few types of clothing that America introduced to the Filipino culture. Belts, suspenders, polo shirts, tennis shoes, short skirts or dresses, bonnets or hats, high heels, pantyhose, and makeup.
Other American influences: jeepneys, swing dance, democracy, etc. These are just some examples of many ways in which American colonization influenced the Philippines. While there were certainly negative aspects of this period in Philippine history, such as violence and explosions, it is also important to recognize the positive contributions that American colonization made to Philippine society.